And some people have said, to his point, the offense is broken. He has mechanical issues. Do you think that's true when you look at the interceptions?
No, I actually don't think the interception conversation is fair. If you look at since week 1, these interceptions, okay, this is on 3rd and 20. He's throwing a one-on-one jump ball to Gabe Davis. This is on 3rd and 18. He's throwing a launched outside the pocket ball to Stephon Diggs. Those are not bad decisions. That one's a good decision. He just misses that throw by 2 inches. So I'm not sitting here crushing Josh Allen. This ball is batted at the line of scrimmage, ends up being a pick, and then last week he throws the ball to Gabe Davis across the middle, and it gets batted up in the air for interception. Since week 1, I think there are 3 interceptions that I sit there and say, Josh can't have them. Bad decisions, inexcusable. It's one against New England, it's one against Cincinnati, and it's the one right before the half against Denver last week on Monday Night Football. Since week 1, there's 5 of them that, again, are launches on 3rd and long. If you guys remember, I said this about Stafford and the Rams Super Bowl year. It's 3rd and 20. If you're outside the pocket and launching a go route, it's essentially a punt. I don't really care about it. It's not like that's the decision that lost the game. So I think the whole conversation around, oh my gosh, Josh Allen and these interceptions that he's throwing aren't actually within context and are way overblown than what the reality of tape says.
Boy, your personal to quarterbacks is just a mess. Dan, the man threw 3. And why did the Buffalo Bills lose to the Jets?
I literally said since week 1.
Huh?
I said since week 1. If anyone was critical about him on week 1,
what
Marcus,
I'm saying is you are in this position a lot because of turnovers, bro.
That's not true.
It's no way around it. Like, and look, I'm with you on the ball going through Gabe Davis's arms, but I'm not with you on an interception before half that's going to set the Denver Broncos up to get points, and you end up losing by a field goal. I'm not with you when we start looking at all. Bro, it's critical. And look, for you to say on TV that the interceptions are not a problem, the man is leading the league since he's been starting.
But Marcus, I'm looking at the interceptions and saying, why are they happening? Sometimes interceptions just happen. Okay, is Lamar Jackson's pick 6 last week on Lamar Jackson? Like, realistically, is there something that the quarterback can do there?
A batted ball? No.
Okay, so Josh has 2 interceptions on those batted balls. I showed you 2 of them.
I also excoriate Lamar Jackson when he throws one in the red zone for an interception that turns into points.
Marcus, I just said there's 3 of them that are inexcusable bad decisions. I'm with you on that. But this narrative that every ball is an interception is inaccurate.
It would be much easier for you to determine this if he wasn't leading in interceptions, bro, and turnovers. That is the issue, right? Like you and I and Hawk and people that look at film can say, that's not on Josh Allen. That's not on him when a receiver drops the ball and all of that. I get that. But he has a turnover problem, dude. It's no way around it. Marcus. It's 0 ways around talking about Josh Allen not turning the football over and it not translating into some losses.
So I think the one thing that's going to be interesting, Hawk, is whether or not we actually see Joe Brady do something schematically to maybe help this. And maybe Allen does take care of the football a little bit better. What do you think the Allen approach should be going forward here?
I mean, for the whole offense, they got to figure out this connection between Allen and the wide receivers. And that starts with Stephon Diggs, figuring out how you target them and how you work within the scheme. Here's a crucial drive at the end of this game that they needed here. Right here, Gabe Davis, he's the only option, doesn't win on the crossing route. Okay, check down 2 yards. 2nd and 8 here. Curl, the number 1 option, Shakir, is open. Josh Allen is protected. He doesn't make the throw. Now you're 3rd and 8. In 3rd and 8, who are you supposed to go to in a critical moment?
Your guy.
We're going Stephon Diggs. Comes off him too late, and he makes one of those throws you're talking about, Dan, where he throws out to the field late, 3 people there, triple coverage, and it's almost picked off well in a crucial moment. So we can talk about the system.
Right.
When the read is there, you got to make the throw. We can talk about what Josh Allen needs to do. He has to make better decisions, but this is a holistic problem that they have to get figured out. Otherwise, we're making a much ado about nothing because it won't matter.
When I watch those clips specific to Josh, and I think this will be the challenge for Joe Brady, is like, can you get him to just slow down a little bit? A lot of times it looks like he's already moving in the pocket or getting off guys before the route concept has developed. So that's you got to like just settle him in, and that's part of the forcing.
Is that an O-line thing? Or no?
I think it's just part of his personality to force stuff. And then real quick, Marcus, I do think Joe Brady is going to bring a little bit of like the Sean Payton New Orleans Saints stuff. He had experience with him, and then obviously at LSU, some under center play action chunks. I think we were talking about this. I think part of it is when you force a stallion type of quarterback to play in this dink and dunk offense, eventually they're going, if you're not going to call shots for me or chunks, I'm going to go chase them. I'm not absolving Josh of that. I'm just trying to produce some context to it. And then I do think they'll go some empty, which is something that Josh absolutely excels at as long as he's ready for pressure. So I think where Joe Brady can make some scheme changes for them.
Yep.
I want to ask you this, Dan, because when I looked at Josh just now in that presser, and I think it was a third down where he missed the throw to rolling out to his right, and I think Shakir was either wide open and he overthrew him over the head.
Yeah.
Where do you think his confidence is right now?
I think it's low. I think it's low, Marcus, and I don't think the confidence being low is like to him only. I think it's low with the whole offensive unit. It felt low when it came to the person calling the plays, and it's like everyone's got to get to that. But it comes from results. We know that. Like they got to go have successful results like they did the first 4 or 5 weeks to build that confidence back.
You know, what a game that was. Both teams, though, a lot different now, had several key departures from their Super Bowl squads last season. The Eagles lost both their offensive and defensive coordinator, plus they lost Javon Hargrave, Miles Sanders, and C.J. Gardner-Johnson. The Chiefs also lost a coordinator. Eric Bieniemy went to Washington, and they lost Juju Smith-Schuster, Orlando Brown Jr., and safety Juan Thornhill. So, Hawk, what do you see as the biggest change in these teams since the Super Bowl that might impact this rematch on Monday Night Football?
The biggest change is we're not seeing Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce at their best because of the production or lack thereof of the wide receiver position for the Kansas City Chiefs. Teams are being able to take away Travis Kelce, and then Patrick Mahomes is not trusting his process because these receivers haven't lived up to what they need to be doing to balance out the offense. Now, we talked last week about fatal flaws for these teams. We talked about the Chiefs. It was the wide receivers. When we talked about the Eagles, Dan, you and I both mentioned the secondary for the Eagles. So this is an opportunity for this Chiefs team to turn those things around, specifically Rashee Rice, who, in my opinion, it's time for the Chiefs to hand the keys over to him at their wide receiver position. He's shown to be trusted. Him and Mahomes have built the chemistry. He's been good in the middle of the field. He has a 78% catch rate, which is like third in the league right now. So it's time to start deploying him more on the outside, in the inside, whatever it takes to get Patrick Mahomes back to his normal self, to really let it go and trust beyond Travis Kelce.
Do you think he's good enough to play on the outside consistently?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think for what they're doing, because Patrick Mahomes is so off script, and they have time. The biggest thing about being an outside receiver is you being able to get open in the timing, right? Patrick Mahomes is great at that. And again, if they are going to key on Travis Kelce, give him double, give him triple coverage, it makes it that much more easier to beat one-on-one outside.
I like him on the inside. I do. I like him when it comes to how many different ways can we just get him the ball quickly, a little bit of RPO action, because he's like this big physical guy. The interesting thing for me with this game is, to that point, can he or someone start to step forward and hurt teams when they double Travis? And will Philly double Travis? Because that's not really in Philly's repertoire with Sean Desai, their defensive coordinator. Because I look at it like this. Obviously, you want to double Travis, see if you could win the game. I also look at it in the context of the Cowboys and going, are you going to start to implement something like that to double CeeDee Lamb when you meet them and force those other receivers to beat you? So, like, can they break their mold a little bit and say, Travis, you're not going to beat us, even though that's not who they are. And force somebody else to, and does that actually happen for Kansas City?
You know, it's interesting you bring that up, because as much as we're excited about this game, I mean, what really matters for the Eagles if they want to get back to the Super Bowl and really get revenge is beating the Cowboys. So this could be a blueprint game. I hadn't thought about it that way, but interesting to think about. Lamar Jackson has shined against the Bengals in his career, posting a 7-1 record with 12 passing touchdowns to 4 interceptions. Look at him there. He's pumping us up, okay? He's also been highly effective on the ground against the AFC North rival, averaging over 79 rushing yards per game. It's the most by any quarterback against a single opponent since 1950. Marcus, we start with you. How might Lamar and the Ravens take advantage of that Bengals defense again tomorrow night?
Listen, this is, for me, about the run game. I know we talked about C.J. Stroud and the success that he had against Cincinnati, but I bring back Devin Singletary running to the tune of 150 yards and averaging 5.0 a carry. And I know Dan made reference to Baltimore not having Marlon Humphrey, I think Sam Hubbard is the same impact on the other side of the football when you start thinking about this defense, and especially when Lou Anarumo wants to give you different looks and potentially have those run blitzes where he's bringing corners off the edge, and Mike Hilton in particular. The Baltimore Ravens are still a running football team. That is when we've seen them be the most dominant offense. Cincinnati going to have to get that fixed before tomorrow night.
Yeah, and I would say on the other side, or on that same side of the ball, but the other team, Marcus, is the Ravens have to close these football games out offensively late in the game. They cannot get away from the run. And how you do that is you rely on the players that I've showed you. We're at that point in the season, right? Like, we're trying to figure things out. They have a very versatile offense. They spread the ball around. Now it's time to rely on your playmakers. And OBJ, critical of him earlier in the year and how he came on in this offense. But as of late, he is showing that he is one of the guys that needs to be a focal point. Yes, we get it from Zay. Yes, we get it from Mark Andrews. Late in that game, they needed first down catches. They needed guys to get open.
Slants.
And they needed slants. And they didn't go to OBJ. And for a veteran receiver and what you're paying him and what he's shown recently, there's no reason not to.
Yeah, like, it's time now. Maybe early on in the season you were giving him some time, but come on, he's ready to go.